AI continues to make inroads across the rest of corporate America. For instance, AIG partnering with Anthropic to streamline its underwriting process. That has AIG shares hitting their highest level since 2008, believe it or not, as they hold their investor day in New York City. That's where we find our Sara Eisen, joined by the CEOs of both AIG and Anthropic for a CNBC exclusive interview. Hi, Sara.
Hi, Kelly. It's good to see you. Yes, I am here in New York City, site of AIG's first investor day in almost 10 years with the CEO, Peter Zaffino. Thanks for having us. And the CEO of Anthropic. Thank you for being here as well, Dario Amodei, on this new partnership with AIG. You know, Peter, haven't had an investor day in a while. Haven't talked about AIG that much. You've never been on CNBC. This is a whole different AIG than the one that we remember. How transformed is this company?
It's amazing. We just spent a little over 3.5 hours with our investors, outlining our journey that we've taken, and we focused on so much of our underwriting, our operations, the financial flexibility and strategic flexibility that we have today, and we provided them with some guidance that I think was well received. But it really reflects on all the hard work that the entire company's done over many years to be able to position us for today.
Improved really profitability, I think, has been the headline.
Dramatically.
For
I mean, we showed from 2008 to 18, the company lost over $33 billion, and now we're a steady earner of just on the underwriting profit of around $1.9 billion a year. We've done that 3 years in a row, and have a lot of momentum going into the future. And
you also have this big AIG Anthropic partnership, which you announced an expansion of today. You've been working with Claude and using these large language models. How does this work? How do you go in as Anthropic and do this kind of deal?
Yes. So, Anthropic is a company that builds AI models in a way that emphasizes trust and reliability. And we build AI models for enterprises. And those two things are connected, right? We try and look very carefully at the use cases. We understand that industries like insurance are heavily regulated. And therefore, we need to build models that and deploy them in a way that customers can believe in a way that comply with regulators. So we've worked very closely. We send in a bunch of people to work with a bunch of Peter's people to really make sure that we deploy these models for valuable use cases. And Peter can say more about it, but we're really starting to get to the core of their business, things like underwriting, claims processing, having the models do this in ways that are efficient, but that are also safe and that people can trust.
Can AI do underwriting?
It can. That's not what we're using it for. We're using it really to extract data, get more insight on every individual risk that we're going to underwrite, and do it in a fraction of the time. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of quality data with the source that it can actually get to the underwriter in a fraction of the time. Our investment has always been focused on driving growth, enterprise end-to-end, and Dario and Anthropic and the team have been very helpful and instrumental in helping us think through how we do that.
Yeah, and what have you seen as you've gone down this path toward enterprise, particularly in insurance or financial services, and just how much potential there is?
Yeah, there are a few things. So, I think a few patterns I've observed. One is the AI models themselves they're already capable of incredible feats, and they're getting better every day. That actually isn't the challenge in commercial terms. The challenge in commercial terms is getting them into these large existing enterprises and actually making them work. So a few things about that. One is many companies have started by deploying the models sort of on the periphery of their business. Things like internal productivity, customer service, functions that every company has. One of the things that I think is unique and interesting about our partnership with AIG is we're starting to go more and more towards the core of the business. There's been a very focused philosophy and a very focused conviction on AIG's side that we've helped to support, that we really can use the models to transform and support the business.
How big of a growth area is enterprise for you right now?
Yeah, enterprise is the area that we focus on most. Our enterprise business has grown very fast. Last year, our total revenue, the great majority of which is enterprise or at least business, grew from $100 million rate to $1 billion rate, and it's growing even faster in the first quarter of this year.
And you mentioned the bigger profitability targets. You sounded very optimistic today. What's driving the outlook overall for you?
We're so optimistic that we can, reduce cycle time in terms of getting information that's fully analyzed by the underwriter in a fraction of the time. And so therefore, as we start to get a lot more volume in certain parts of our business, we have not been able to handle that volume. It's not just hire more people. It's really focusing on how to get the enterprise adopting more large language models and data ingestion in a way that we can actually look at more opportunities. And one of the businesses we gave example today, we've seen 10 times the amount of submissions over the last 7 years, went from 30,000 to 300,000. We have not been able to handle that volume at the level that we want to. And so by bringing, Anthropic and Claude, we've used a couple of Claude models, but 3.5 now, it is reducing cycle time by 60 or 70%. And then we're changing the culture and enabling, underwriters to underwrite. And therefore, we believe there's great growth potential there.
Why Claude, Dario? Why is it better than your competitors like a ChatGPT or a Gemini? I mean, everybody's chasing enterprise right now.
Yeah, I would give a couple points. One is, I think in terms of there's the general capability of the model, right? How smart, how capable, how intelligent it is. And I think in many cases and at many times, the Claude models have been the strongest in a general sense. But it goes beyond that and goes back to what I said about Anthropic specializing in serving enterprise and business. We really place a premium on trust, reliability, and safety. We focus a lot on that in our models, right? Our models are trained in a way that causes them to follow certain principles. We've also put a lot of effort into things like interpretability, seen inside the models so that someone can look at them and understand their thought process and why they do the things they do. And in enterprises, and I think it goes double for regulated industries like insurance, those things come at a premium, those things are valued, and those things help people to trust the technology. So it's really a perfect fit. It really sets us up to serve these applications.
Yeah, I mean, trust of technology, but also, it's costly. There's been sort of this moment, I feel, in the markets of wondering whether all the investment around AI is going to be worth it. How do you measure the return on investment?
Well, there's a few things. One is, do you believe in the direction of enterprises and financial services that this is going to be part of the future? We do. We have enormous conviction there. The other is that we've always gone about this. Can you save money on operations or call centers? Of course you can. But are you going to set a strategy that's going to allow for either 2 times or 5 times growth? That's where we started this 18 months ago. And then how can we build an ecosystem that's going to be more agile as technology evolves and starts to accelerate? Have we built the right end-to-end process to enable the changes? And I think that we've been very committed on all three, and it's proven to be very successful for us in the short term. I mean, we're knowing that this is going to change our overall business model for the future, but we're pushing very hard in terms of testing it and starting to roll it out in certain businesses. So, the growth, profitability, in essence, you could eliminate certain roles, but what we're doing is taking those roles and retraining them to be able to leverage that growth. And so it's just going to change, how our operating model works.
What do you say to those that are questioning the narrative about whether all the hype is worth all the investment?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that things are growing very fast everywhere. You see it again earliest in startups and in a small fraction of enterprises that really have conviction and that are really betting, which is what we've seen with this deal now. But I think the thing that really gives me the belief that the potential is much greater even than the explosion we've seen so far is for every enterprise that really gets it, that is trying to get to the core of their business, there's 10 others in different fields like, biomedical, other parts of the finance industry, the legal industry, coding, productivity, that even what the models do today, there's this huge overhang. Even what the models do today, they're capable of transforming what businesses are able to do. It's really just about the frictions. Even if the technology were frozen today, the potential would be enormous, would be 10 or 100 times bigger than it is today.
All right, well, Dario, thank you very much. And Peter, we're going to continue the conversation. And Kelly, we're going to talk about all sorts of things, go deeper into climate change, for instance, in the insurance business, into DeepSeek and implications for AI. But just to give you a little taste of what's happening from the AI Investor Day, which is clearly moving the stock, and you can catch more of that interview on all these topics tomorrow morning on Money Movers. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
And I love seeing how AI is changing the corporate world. Sara, thanks. We appreciate everybody's time today with that interview.